Hello, hello,
Hello.
ma'am, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello. Are we audible to you?
Yes. Hi.
Hello, everyone. It's wonderful to be here on the second day of IEEE-SSIT speaker session. I am Vani, and I'm quite excited to introduce all of you to our today's guest. She is a software engineer at Microsoft and also an incredibly talented and highly inspiring personality. It's an absolute honor for us to have her this evening. On behalf of all the IEEE-SSIT chapter members, I extend a warm welcome to Ms. Mahima Hans for taking time out of her busy schedule and sharing some valuable insights with all of us. Thank you so much
Thanks.
for connecting with us, ma'am.
Most welcome, Vani. Happy to be here.
Ms. Hans had completed her undergraduate studies in computer engineering at Delhi Technological University, also known as DTU, in the year 2021. Notably, she is currently serving as a software engineer at Microsoft and is also a mentor-led guide at platforms like Preplaced and AlgoTutor. She has remained a full-stack developer and have worked extensively on both the front end and back ends of various projects. Her areas of specialization includes C++, Angular, JavaScript, and web development, which contributes to her exceptional skills in turning ideas into reality. What truly sets her apart is her remarkable ability to motivate and uplift others. Achieving such a significant milestone and becoming successful in a short time is truly amazing. She serves as an inspiration to many of us. As a mentor, she plays an important role in guiding students along their career paths, assisting them in upscaling and reshaping their professional journeys. The joy and satisfaction that comes from mentoring and nurturing students as they grow, not just only in their career, but also as a human being, also as an individual, is truly undescribable. It's surely evident that she has been creating a lasting impact in her field and in the lives of all those students she guides. Please welcome Miss Mahima Hans among us. Welcome, ma'am.
Thanks a lot, Vani. Thanks a lot. It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. It really means a
It's
lot.
welcome.
Uh, yeah.
How was the day? How was your
It was
day
great. It was
at
great.
work?
How was yours?
It's fine.
Yeah. Uh, I'm glad to be here. Uh, shall we start?
Yeah. It's all up to you now.
Okay. Let me start with a brief introduction of myself. So, I'm Mahima Hans. I'm a software engineer at Microsoft, and I currently hold around 2.5 years of experience working in the industry. I also interned at Microsoft during my college, and after that, I got a pre-placement offer, and I started working at Microsoft as a full-time employee. And I'm a mentor. So what I do is like I do long-term mentorship for students. So I take them from the very beginner level to a level where they're ready to interview with companies. So I basically help them with guidance, support, and all the resources they need for their preparation. So I do long-term mentorship spanning a few months, and that's how I get my mentees ready for placements. And it's been an amazing journey until now. When I started, I still remember like after my school, I was in DTU, and I used to be a very nerdy person. I was always in the library coding and doing data structures, web development, all of that. I was like most of the time studying and coding. and that is like my hard work and dedication is the one thing that led me to the internship at Microsoft, and then clearing few more interviews to get into Microsoft as a full-time employee. So that's how my journey has been, full of a lot of challenges, a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication. And today I'm here to guide my viewers about how they can shape their career, how they can get into good companies, their dream companies, and how they can achieve their goals. So I will be sharing my screen, Vani, to present my PPT. Is that fine?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Cool.
Okay, I will present. Okay, can you please let me know if it's visible?
Yeah, yeah, it's now visible.
Okay, okay. Today we're going to talk about success strategies to crack product-based company interviews. So I already told you about myself that I'm a software engineer and a mentor and guide to many students and professionals who are preparing for their dream job. Now let me start with what all are we going to cover in this session, the agenda of this session. So basically, we're going to cover interview rounds for productive employees. Then we're going to cover interview rounds for freshers. So this is going to cover interview rounds roadmap, what all things a fresher can expect in placements. The next thing is going to be how to prepare on DSA, prepare for DSA, because DSA, as you all know, is the most important thing right now, which companies, most importantly, the product-based companies look for when they hire a person, right? Then how to enhance your resume, certain tips to better your resume, all of that. Then how can I help you, and then we'll jump to Q&A. Great. I'll start with hiring rounds for freshers. There are mostly three kinds of assessments for freshers. The first one is the online or offline assessment, which is called the OA. That is basically the test that you have to give before going to the interview rounds. So that mostly consists of data structures algorithms. It can have aptitude questions, SQL queries, or SQL questions. Then questions related to computer science fundamentals, which is your operating systems, object oriented programming, database management system, computer networking, all those subjects which you study in college. Those are the things that will be covered in this online or offline assessment, which is the test round. After clearing this test round, you'll jump to the technical rounds. There'll be one or more technical rounds for freshers. Generally, they take 2 rounds. And for the technical rounds, what they can ask you is coding problems based on DSA. Then there can be questions based on your personal projects or whatever tech stack that you've made your projects on. So, say you have, you know, you have done certain web development projects. So there can be questions based on that, or Android development or whatever. The idea here is to know everything that you have worked on, or every project you have made, to know it from end to end. You should know how it works, how that like any question about that tech stack can be asked. You should know everything in detail. That's about the technical rounds. And also some companies ask puzzles in these rounds, so you should practice a lot of puzzles from GFG. Then the last round is HR round. They can be hiring manager round also. That round basically entails the culture fit questions. So there can be questions about certain situations, like how would you handle a conflict with your manager, or how would you handle a conflict with your colleague. So all such questions which are which make them sure about your candidature, that you are a good culture fit for that company. Those kinds of questions are asked in the HR round. So this is a gist of the hiring rounds for freshers. Then we will proceed to the preparation roadmap. So as a fresher, I already told you the things that were asked in multiple rounds in online assessment, in technical rounds, and in HR. So according to that, I have listed down what are things that you need to focus on, from the most priority item to the least, like to someone which is a little less important than that. But all of these are really very important, and you should not miss any of them. So please hear me out carefully. The first one is data structures and algorithms. I cannot emphasize enough, but mostly every round, like every company, the first round is going to be based on data structures and algorithms. So that should be your first priority, practicing a lot of DSA problems. The second thing is computer science fundamentals. So studying all these subjects which I mentioned earlier: OOPS, OS, DBMS, SQL. That is something which is very important for these technical rounds. The next is aptitude questions. So as I already told that in test rounds, aptitude questions are asked, right? And if you don't clear the test round, you don't go to the further rounds. So clearing the test round involves all these three essentially: DSA, computer science fundamentals, and aptitude questions. So you have to be very, very thorough with all these three and focus on these first. Then, as the interview rounds come, a DSA is asked, yes, but they can also ask puzzles. So you should practice a lot of puzzles from Geeks for Geeks. And then, as far as your personal projects are concerned, you should have 2 to 3 projects in your resume. That's what every company looks out for. It's not essential that you have to do a web development project or an Android development project or a machine learning project. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do, whatever interests you, whatever you're passionate about, that is what you should, include in your projects. Your project should be based on that technology only. And the last but really important point is know your resume completely. So whenever you are going for an interview, the interview can ask you anything and everything out of your resume. So you should know everything from top to bottom, and you should know everything from top to bottom, and you should know like the details of it exactly. So knowing that is really important. Let's go to the next topic, which is how to prepare for DSA interviews. As I already told, that DSA is like the most important thing as far as the tech interviews are concerned. So here are certain tips that can help you, start with DSA and progress in solving DSA problems. So the first one is like start with basic coding, right? Don't jump to DSA and then whatever you figure out. Just jump to some easy questions, solve those easy questions by yourself, and then move on to medium questions. Now, in the initial days, you will find it hard to solve even the easy questions. So, for that, I would say that everybody feels that. I mean, everybody faces trouble in easy questions, medium questions, all of that. But it's a beginning stage, right? As you proceed, as you keep practicing consistently, this is going to improve. So in the initial days, if you're not able to solve the question, that is fine. Don't need to worry about that. Point is so basically, if you are covering a lot of variety of questions of every pattern, that should be enough. So basically, choose your questions wisely. Instead of practicing, 10-20 questions of the same pattern, try to practice questions from different patterns. That's what I would suggest for the number of questions. Then after, like, you're done with the easy topics, that's when you move to the little complex topics like graphs, DP, etc. I would say these are very important. Basically, DP is something that you will find a question in most of the interviews. not exactly as a fresher, but even when you are going for an interview after you have some experience, these topics become the most important. And if you're going for DP questions, building a good base in recursion and backtracking questions is very important. So I would advise, whenever you reach, whenever in your practice roadmap you reach backtracking questions, practice a lot of backtracking questions, and like really know what you're doing, because uh, if you're able to solve backtracking questions, no, the DP questions will become a lot easier. So be that good at backtracking questions that any question comes over, you're able to figure out how to solve it, right? Then another tip I would give is that do random questions. So generally what we do is, now we study a topic, then we do some questions based on that topic. Now, at the back of the mind, we already know that we have studied this topic, and this is the question related to that topic. So our mind automatically goes to, that particular topic. Say we studied stack data structure and we are doing a question of stack, so we know that we are going to use stack, so it's a little easy to figure out that what data structure you use. But when you do random questions, you can find a lot of websites provide you a random question selector, right? LeetCode also does, GFG also does. Just pick a random question and try to solve it, because then you're not biased towards a particular data structure. You don't know what data structure to use. That's when you'll actually test your brain. So do a lot of random questions when you're done with most of the topics, and do some mock interviews with an industry expert. So yeah, most of you might not be able to find an industry expert to mock interview you, but I would suggest do a mock interview with whoever you can, maybe your friend, maybe some of your seniors. Just do it with everyone, because creating an actual interview environment through a mock interview really helps you. It helps you build your confidence, and it helps you to actually mirror the actual setting of the interview environment, and be mentally prepared as well for the interview. So mock interview is really important. Now, I this is something I have got from a lot of my mentees, the problems they face while preparing DSA. So I have heard like a lot of students are not able to solve even easy questions initially. And as I told, this is a phase that comes in everybody's journey. So obviously it's going to happen with you as well, that you're not going to be able to solve easy questions. So see, that happens anywhere, everywhere, right? Even when we started with mathematics, we were not able to solve the first question ourselves. We were, we look on the solution and then we go and solve it ourselves, right? So that's the same is with coding. So if you're not able to solve a question, you need to worry about it. In the initial days, there'll be many questions where you'll have to see the solution, but the most important thing is, even if you see the solution, just practice it yourself after that. Don't just see the solution and then copy paste the code. Don't do it. Just write the code so that you learn something and you implement it yourself. So that's what I would say. And slowly, when you're observing patterns, even after seeing solutions, if you're observing patterns and if you're getting to know how these questions are being done, you'll be able to solve them on your own. The next thing I would say is people face a lot of difficulty maintaining consistency. And honestly, I would say that if you're not consistent with your DSA practice, it's a waste of time, because DSA is one thing which, if you stop preparing, like if you stop practicing for 2 to 3 weeks or a month, you'll forget the you may forget some of the patterns, and you'll just lose touch with the pattern recognition that you've made in your mind. So even if you're not able to do a lot of questions every day, try to do one or two questions at least. Just stay in touch with the topics. And you can, I personally do this. I maintain a lead code streak. So I solve at least one problem every day. Even at this stage where I have a lot of work, I have my office, I have my mentorship, sessions and all of that. That one question I definitely do, just to maintain my consistency and stay in touch with that. So that's what I would recommend to you as well. Now, as I told you that you should focus on the variety. So if you feel that you're stuck on the same type of question, doing the same pattern of questions, I would say uh, change your question set, find a better resource for yourself for your practice, and don't just keep practicing the same pattern of questions. Try to include variety in your practice, right? And the next problem I have heard from students is that they find it hard to recognize the approach to use. So in that case, I would say that say you have a complex hard DSA problem, don't look at the problem as a whole. Just think what you have to do, break it down into different sub problems, some of these small problems, and then focus on solving those sub problems in an optimal manner. When you are able to solve all those sub problems, only then will you be able to solve the whole problem. Then if you are taking too much time to solve the questions, so generally if you are taking more than an hour to solve a medium question, or more than 2 hours to solve hard questions, that's normal initially, but as you proceed, you should not give too much time to solve a single question, because you have to cover variety, right? Your focus is not to solve all the hard questions by yourself, but actually learn, right? Actually learn how the DSA questions are solved. So I would say, if after a certain time, set a time limit for yourself, keep decreasing that time limit. Say you set a 50 minutes time limit for a medium question. Try for 50 minutes, give your best. If you're not able to do, then you go look at the solution, and then you go and code it, right? That's something like you should do, because otherwise a lot of time would be wasted. Okay. And then the next thing is like, you must have seen that there's a discuss section in lead code, right? And people have listed a lot of solutions there. So sorry. So what you can do is go to the discuss section in lead code and explore all the possible solutions of that problem. How that can help you is, all these solutions may be helpful somewhere else. So when you are solving some other problem, an approach that you learnt in that particular previous problem, where you saw hundreds of some, like 3-4 solutions of that one problem, that can be really helpful for you. So I would recommend, like, always like check out the discuss section and try to learn different approaches of solving the problem. That will really expand your data set for recognizing patterns and solving DSA problems. So also, if you're like finding it harder to practice with your education, with your classes, all of that, if you're finding it hard to focus, then I would say, like, maintain a plan for yourself every day before sleeping, and plan your questions, because as I already told, consistency is the most important thing in DSA, right? So now, to test your preparation, like see, you're practicing questions, sometimes you're seeing the solution, sometimes you're doing it by yourself. How to track your progress, that you're actually getting better at it? There are certain ways. One is participating in coding competitions. So there are competitions that various organizations organize, right? That's one thing. But there are certain contests. So for DSA, we have contests on lead code, bi-weekly and weekly. So they happen on every alternate Saturdays and every Sunday. These are the two contests that you can participate in, and try to become better with every contest you give. Okay. Then, as I already told you, do random questions. That's really important to test your level of preparation. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of mock interviews. So I already told that you can try giving a mock interview to an industry expert, but if you're not able to, try to give mock interviews to your friends, or whoever you can. Okay. Now, a much important topic, like, preparation is important, but building your resume is important too, right? Because Resume is the first thing that a recruiter sees. And so like there are a lot of resumes that the recruiters have to screen. So building a resume right, something that catches their eye, that shines, is really important. So here are a few tips to build your resume correctly. Okay. So I would recommend, instead of using Google Docs or any other text editor, use Overleaf. Overleaf is a free website for creating resumes, and it has a lot of nice templates. So I would recommend using Overleaf to create your resume instead of going over Google Docs or any text editors. Then don't put a photo in your resume; it's not required only. And for technical, technical profile, photo doesn't make sense. Also, like keep your resume limited to only one page. Don't make a multiple page resume because you're a fresher. And honestly, all of it should be covered in one page, because screening a lot of resumes, a recruiter wouldn't go through multiple pages and check what all you've done. So I would say a one page resume is enough. Then you should not fake anything in your resume. So like mention only what the things that you know, only the skills that you actually learned. Because in an interview, the interviewer can ask you anything out of your resume. So knowing your resume is really, really important. And mentioning only what you know is something that you should take care of. The next point is highlight and bolden. So as I told, like the recruiter is screening hundreds of resumes for a job, right? So he'll just honestly, a recruiter would give like 10 or 15 seconds to one resume. They'll not, give minutes to reading your resume. So, you just highlight and make the important points bold, so that the recruiter is really able to catch those important keywords or your skills in the first go when he looks at your resume. The next is a robust objective. So, keep an objective in your resume. Probably as a headline of your resume. It's mostly present in as a headline in the templates. So that should be a very small sentence entailing your professional goals and the kind of person you are. Also, like use bullet points while listing out the details of your projects or anything. Like instead of paragraphs, use bullet points all over the resume. Try to avoid paragraphs, because even when you're reading a text, reading paragraphs is a little difficult. I mean, people, it's not very readable for people. People are lazy. Okay, so bullet points is something which is very readable, and it's easy to look at quickly. A person can read it. So try to include bullet points instead of paragraphs. And the last but most important, customize your resume according to the job description. So you'll be applying to lots of jobs, and you'll have one skill for some job, some skills for other jobs. Sending the same resume everywhere doesn't make sense. Just check out the job description very carefully before sending out your resume, and keep customizing your resume according to the job description. So that's about building your resume. Now, some interview tips, like when you're actually going to an interview for a company, what all things you should follow before and during that. So firstly, like, say your preparation is done, your DSA preparation is done, your projects are done, you have the knowledge of computer science fundamentals. Now you go to a real interview, right? Before going, do company specific preparation. By company specific preparation, what do I mean? I mean, check out the previous experiences of people who, like, what they have listed on Geeks for Geeks or Lead Code. A lot of people keep posting their experiences, right? So, really, really go through the experiences. That will help you know what kind of questions are coming for that company and prepare yourself better for the interview. So, company specific preparation is really important. Next, I would say a lot of mock interviews. As I already told, I can't emphasize enough. I know a lot of people panic out before the interviews. They get nervous, they get anxious, right? The best way to, you know, get away from all these things is do mock interviews and help you build your confidence before the interviews. Now, the other thing is when you're in an interview. So I take a lot of mock interviews for my mentees, right? I help them out in preparation. So I take a lot of mock interviews. Now, if they're not interacting with me, I feel kind of bored. So you don't have to make your interview feel bored. You have to keep interacting with them. You have to talk through your code. What is your approach? What you are doing? Just keep following up with them if they're actually understanding, and like try to explain it to them and don't stay silent. You are the leader of your interview. You have to lead the interview. So keep talking to the interviewer about whatever you are doing, and make sure he's on the same page. He's understanding what you are writing, what you are doing. And another thing is treat the interview as a discussion. Many people panic and stress out because they treat the interview as some sort of a test or an assessment. But honestly, it's not. It's actually the company checking if you are a good fit for them and you checking if you are a good fit for the company. So treat it as a discussion. Think about you're discussing a problem with your friend. So what I imagine while giving my interview is that I'm discussing my problem with a friend who does not know coding. So like I am full confident, I know more than them and I can do it. So take it as a discussion instead of taking it as a test or an assessment. And the last point is rejections are a part of process. Honestly, I have been rejected myself, not just once, multiple times, and everybody faces rejections because these are just the stepping stones to your success. And you'll not actually value your selection if you've not had rejection. So don't need to worry about rejections. Every rejection comes with a learning. So as long as you're learning something, just keep going, and you'll definitely get there. Uh, Now, a little bit about long-term mentorship. So I provide long-term mentorship on Preplaced. You can check out my LinkedIn profile. There's a link there to book a session with me. So how I help my mentees is I help them track their progress regularly on chat, and I connect with them weekly, once or twice a week, and we do a mock interview and progress tracking, all of that. So if you're someone who is looking for long-term mentorship, you can just check out my profile and we can connect. Okay, so there are some other things to explore, like you are doing development, DSA, computer science fundamentals. Now you have abundant time in your college and you want to explore something to actually build, like, develop more skills or get better at development. So these are some few things that you can explore. Check out a lot of open source programs online. There's GSOC, there's Outreachy, there's RGSOC. So basically, through open source, you can contribute to the projects whose code is already available, and you can contribute to bug fixes, features, and all of that. So you can explore certain open source programs. Then there are a lot of hackathons. You can check out hackathons on DevFolio and Unstop, but you can also find people posting about hackathons on LinkedIn. So hackathons are basically a platform where people come in teams and they work on a certain project. They try to solve a real world problem by building an app or a website or any other product. So you can participate and get that experience and learn and build a lot of development skills. Then the third thing is competitive programming. So competitive programming is not something that's important to clear the interviews or get a job, but if you're someone who's really interested in coding and who wants to who loves solving algorithmic problems, right? You can check out competitive programming on CodeChef, on Codeforces. Do a lot of questions, and I mean, I loved it during my college time. So you can also try it out if you want to. Also, like, this is a little motivational tip from me. I know most of you feel nervous and panic out during your interviews and you think that why would I be selected? There are a lot of candidates, why would they select me? But the next time you go to an interview, the question you have to ask yourself is why not you? Why would they not select you? You know, you have done all that hard work, you have done all that preparation. Go with your best preparation and go with full self confidence, because why would they not select you? They'll definitely select you. So have that confidence in yourself, believe in yourself, and you'll definitely reach there. That's all I want to say. And if you want to connect with me, here are the links of my social profiles. You can follow me on LinkedIn, Twitter, and so that's all from my side. Now we can jump to Q&A, Vani.
Thank you, ma'am. Like that was very informative presentation, like quite detailed. And yeah, I hope our viewers have found this very helpful for themselves. I'm pretty sure. I have to ask a few questions from you, like while you presented your PPT. I wanted to ask a question related to DSA. Like as you told, ki DSA and development are required for company related interviews. How much time one should invest in such topics? Like, what is the role and impact of all those topics in the current placement scenario? And how to
Uh,
invest a good amount of time, like proper time?
okay. So you're asking how much time should a person take to cover DSA, is it?
Yeah. Like, how much time we should invest in covering all those topics, which is essential for, placements, which is essential for company related interviews.
Okay, so if you're someone who is studying and trying to take out time on weekends and the evening, I would say for a beginner, it can take like 4 to 6 months to get good at DSA and practice a good amount of questions. So that's the time you should plan for. You'll definitely take this much time. And obviously, everybody has their speed, right? Everybody takes their own time. Everybody's journey is different. So it can take someone a little more or a little less, but more or less, it should be like 4 to 6 months
Four
for
to
DS.
six. Okay. And can you tell me about like what are the questions asked in the interview rounds, in the coding interview, or maybe other kind of interview? What are the topics they usually
Okay.
look forward to?
So, mostly like there can be any topic for DSA, but the most frequently asked topics are arrays, strings, trees, recursion, graphs, dynamic programming, and stats. So these are the topics that most of the companies generally ask while taking DSA interviews, and yeah, basically coding problems based on these topics.
Okay. And like according to you, what do you like? You have experience of 2 years, almost 2 years in the Microsoft. So,
Right.
what do you find unique in that Microsoft culture? Something unique, something you're intrigued about. One thing.
Something you are.
Intrigued about that
Okay, your
culture,
voice
about the
is
Microsoft
breaking a
culture.
little.
Now am I audible?
So something I really love about, yeah, you're audible. So something what I really love about Microsoft's culture is that they put the employees first. So you know, if something is wrong with you personally, or you know your health is not well, or your family's health is not well, or you need any kind of help, your team is there for you, even in personal aspects. So they can cover for you work wise, they'll be there for you to help whenever needed, and it's really an employee first company. So they really take care of their employees, and it's a good work life balance company. That's what I love.
That's really love. Like that's the best part about in any company.
Definitely.
So how do you stay up to date with the latest developments or the latest trends that are going in the software industry?
So I keep reading certain blogs or keep watching videos on YouTube for certain channels. And yeah, I mean, also it like depends on your interest. So it's not that everybody is interested in everything happening in tech. Some people are interested in certain fields, so it's up to you what all you want to follow. But mostly I would say I follow blogs and all of that.
So, uh, like, I want to ask a question from the perspective of someone who has not studied or who has not covered coding in their 11th, 12th in the school type. And for them in the first semester, the curriculum, college usually teaches them in the first semester Python or Java. So, how should he or she deals with that? Like he or she is a coding newbie. So how he or she should proceed? The
Okay.
foundation and everything.
Got it. So I also started in college itself. I hadn't done any coding in my school time. So I would recommend like starting with the very basics, learning how programming, how a language works internally first, and then, very, very basic things like for loops, while loops, if else conditions, a variable, constant, all of that, like learning the basic concepts first, and then only jumping to any advanced concepts like data structures, etc. So writing a few basic programs and learning the basics of language is what I would recommend to a new launch.
Neither. Where can they practice all those like the for loops, like the basics of
Okay, see,
Python and all those language?
I think there are for learning there are a lot of videos on YouTube. Is what I've seen, basics of C
No,
plus
for
plus,
practice.
Python. So you can learn it from YouTube. A lot of channels offer that, and then I have seen a lot of problems on Geeks for very basic problems related to math and basics of computer programming. So that's what you can cover from GFG.
Okay. So this will be the last question from my side, and then we will switch to the Q&A from the viewer section.
Sure.
Can you share me like one incident or maybe any such milestone or any such experience that has helped you or that has shaped you like who you are today, who Mahima Hans is today? One like any such experience in your past.
Okay. So there's no such incident as such, but honestly, what has shaped me today is my family, who really really believes in me, who have been there with me in every phase of my journey. Maybe the JE days where I used to study like 16 hours a day, you know they were there for me, so at the back end doing everything for me, managing my food, my tuitions, everything. So the kind of support and the kind of belief they have in me that she can do it kind of instills
Yeah,
that belief in me also, that yeah, I have to do it for them, for myself, and that's something that keeps me going. So yeah.
that's nice. Okay. So yeah, we have got the first question. What are good ML opportunities at Microsoft? And given the competition, how can we grab them?
Okay. So honestly, like as a fresher, you can't grab any opportunities in a specific team directly, because they will hire you for an internship or a full-time role. So there are a lot of ML projects going on in Microsoft, but if you want to work on them, how you can start is you can start with preparing for Microsoft and getting into Microsoft, and then switching internally based on what projects are going on, what you like, because you can't choose that project initially when you enter a company. But as and when some time is passed and you've learned about the company, the culture, and how to switch internally, then it may be easy for you to explore those opportunities and switch.
Okay. This is the next question we have got. Should we keep DSA as a priority or the projects on different domains?
Okay. So honestly, like for people targeting product based companies, a lot of companies have their first round as DSA, right? And even in the test round they ask DSA. So actually being good at DSA is really important to master product based company interviews. For people who are not targeting product based companies and want to get in some companies who directly check your development skills, for those you can just focus on your projects and development skills only. But most companies I have seen who come off campus or on campus will take a DSA round for you. So I would say if someone is targeting a product based company, DSA is a must. But if you know about startups and companies who are hiring totally based on development, then you can skip it. But DSA is basically, it builds your base in programming. It really helps you become good at problem solving. So I would recommend you should give it a try, definitely. Even if you're not targeting product based companies, you should do DSA just to build your programming skills and improve your problem solving skills.
Can we do DSA in Python? Is CPP Java a must?
So no, CPP or Java is not a must. You can do DSA in the language of your choice. And generally, when you go for interview rounds with companies, they accept any language you want to do the question in. So it's up to you, whatever language you want to do. C++, Java, Python are all the languages which are kind of trending in DSA interviews, but it's up to you. You can choose any language you would like to. I have seen people doing coding in C sharp as well. It's up to you.
So, what are the options for someone who is not into DSA but prefer development over it?
So if someone is not into DSA, they can explore web development if they like, you know uh, if they're curious about how websites are working, they can explore web development, learn some web development technologies, like start with basic HTML, CSS, JavaScript, then jump on to some advanced framework of JavaScript, maybe TypeScript, Angular, or React, and then they can explore backend Node.js. So they can become MERN stack or mean stack developers, web developers. And if someone is curious about how apps work, they can explore Android development, maybe in Java or Kotlin or any other language.
Uh, how do you stay up to date with that the question has been asked? Um, is DSA enough for basics? If not, can you suggest some more subjects that will help a person to switch their field from non-IT to IT and strengthen their basics?
Okay. So DSA is really important. But then if you want to switch to an IT field, knowing the concepts of object oriented programming is really, really important. Knowing some concepts of operating systems, database management system, computer networking, SQL. So all these, computer science fundamentals are also really important if someone is switching from a non-IT to IT. And after that, they can, switch to making projects. But DSA and these computer science fundamentals are both really important.
What do you find unique about the culture? Yeah, that question has been asked.
What do you?
What what emerging technologies do you believe will have the most significant impact on tech industry in the next 5 years?
So we all know about the rise of AI recently. So that is definitely gonna grow, and cloud computing, uh, IoT, robotics, automation, right? AR, VR, all of these are something which are growing and will continue in the next 5 years. Really.
I guess then we are done with it. Like,
Yeah, I see just last question from a person. What are the recommended platforms or resources for effective practice of DSA? So, actually, like you can refer to any good list of questions. You can see Striver sheet, Love Bubbers sheet, Neat Course sheet, whatever sheet you want to. All that matters is you practice a variety of questions. Platform, I prefer lead code. It's up to you. I like the timer feature on lead code that helps me track how much time I'm taking to solve the problem. So I just click the clock button and it just keeps going. So when I know it's been 30 minutes or 35 minutes, I know that yeah, I can stop, or I can, skip, like at least set a limit for myself that okay, I can give 30 minutes to a medium question. If I'm not able to do it, I have to check out the solution and move to the next problem. So yeah, I like lead code better for solving. It's up to you again. You want to use HackerRank, GFG, or whatever. But yeah, lead code is something I personally use. And then sheet, question sheet, you can refer anywhere. Just practice on a variety of questions. That's what will really help you.
okay. I guess then we are done with the Q&A session. I
Great.
hope so. All the queries have been answered, like for our viewers. And yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. It like the session, the complete session was totally insightful. And yeah, the whole presentation and everything. I'm sure it must have helped our viewers. And
Glad to know.
like,
Glad to know.
yeah, these are
Glad.
the basic questions. These are the basic questions and the basic queries people have while sitting for the interview. Like,
Okay.
apart from the technical queries, like the fear, the communication skills, all those things.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining with us, like taking out the time and then.
No worries. No worries. I wish everybody all the best. And
Thank you
it
so
was
much.
great. Yeah. Most welcome.
So I shall end the stream over here. Okay. Thank you.